when I put my bike in her car, I felt like she was just gonna take off because I told her like my bike's damaged. I got hit by a car going up Sepulveda Pass, or Sepulveda Boulevard. One or the other. It's basically Sepulveda goes up next to the 405. There's this street where there's no stop sign. It's kind of like just like a yelled sign for drivers. And I was going up. I was on my fixed gear bike, no brakes, grinding a gear, whatever. I was out of the saddle. This car next to me, I literally see it like in my peripheral vision. I look over. As I'm looking over, I get hit. Not super fast, but fast enough to where I kind of fell onto the hood. But as I fell, I basically stepped with my left leg. And for whatever reason, I don't know how I stepped with my left leg, like really poorly, that like my knee kind of like bent outwards. I didn't tear anything. Everything was fine. I thought, I was really pissed off. So like my adrenaline was like, everywhere. I was not hurt. In that moment, I didn't feel that I was hurt. My rear wheel went out of true. It was like bent. My frame got dented. My track bike got dented. And luckily, it was an aluminum frame. It wasn't a carbon frame, so I didn't break. But there's this huge dent on the side. It's massive. I wish I could have brought my bike. It's a huge dent. Like, I remember the lady was freaking out, because I was really pissed off. I was like, yo, like, what's going on? I asked just to exchange information. And what really got me mad is when I asked her for her license, she didn't want to give it to me. It was like you just hit me, and she's just like, oh, like I'll give you like $100, like I'll give you a ride to wherever you're going. I got the ride still, but I still got her information. It said on her license that she needed glasses. She didn't have glasses on, and on your license, if it says you need to have glasses, you have to have them on. So I was like, should I milk it? Like, should I get like my benefit out of fixing my bike? Should I worry about like my medical stuff? Like, it was my first time I ever had to deal with like with an accident thing where I didn't know how to go about it, where, I didn't even want to tell my dad, because my dad hated me riding fixed gear bikes because there's no brakes on the bike. He's like, you're going to get hit one day. And and that's what happened. So I didn't know what to do. I got to my cousin, so she drove me over the hill into the valley, so over Sepulveda into the valley. She dropped me off. My cousin picked me up, and he told me, you need to get your money's worth out of this. Don't take advantage, but, do it the right way. Get your money for your bike, go to a bike shop, assess it, whatever. It ended up being a lot. I took it to a bike shop. It ended up being a lot. But later throughout that day, I started to get a really, really like bad pain in my knee. And like, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just, I thought I just stepped wrong, whatever would go away. Or like I hit my knee on the frame or something. I had a dent on the frame. So I thought that's what it was. And it wasn't, because it was on the right side. So I didn't know. Maybe about a week or so passed, and I was in contact with this lady. I went to a bike shop, got like a quote for my bike. It ended up being like $2,000 for like, they wanted me to get my money for my whole bike, because they saw that the lady was like, being a little goofy, and they were like, you know what, like, the bike's in rideable condition, but at the same time, it's not. So it's like you're risking yourself, like you're gonna have to get service on this and like change some parts or whatever. It was a lot. The lady was freaking out. But, I left it at that. I told her, I was like, I'm not going to get any medical stuff. I'm not going to go to the doctor and have you pay for everything else, which was my first mistake. Because then a week later, I took a break from riding my bike for a week because my knee was hurting. A week later, I got on my bike. And from that moment on, for about 2 years, I just had this like nagging knee pain. I had like a nasty hot spot like on the top part of my knee. Since then, it's never been the same. I think only up until now, that's been like maybe 5 years. That I could say that it's better-ish. I basically, I was really committed to like actually taking like racing really seriously at this point, to the point where, I hired a coach, and I was like, I want a training plan. I want to take care of my eating habits. I want to take care of my body in a different way. My fitness was like skyrocketing. Like I was, climbing really well. And like, I don't just say that, like a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm so strong, but dude, I was peaking. I don't know how, but I was peaking in my fitness, like insane. I was doing NPR, which is a local group ride in Santa Monica. It's kind of it's like right next to LAX. So there was an LAX circuit race that stopped, but they kept the course. So it's like a Tuesday, Thursday ride, at like 7 a.m. It's like an hour long, like just basically like a circuit race / crit, with like whoever shows up, unsanctioned. Obviously it's a group ride. I had intervals to do after, so still 2.5 hours afterwards that I had to do intervals like every single week, which is what, build up that fitness. But I was done with my first set. I had like a 15-minute, 20-minute just kind of like recovery spin. I had to hold like, certain cadence, whatever, etc. I was gassed just because that day it was hot. It was like in the middle of summer. It was August 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like, it always gets hotter towards the end of summer, especially in LA. And I was like super sweaty. I was like almost about to throw up after my first set. I was feeling great actually going into my second set now after that recovery spin. I really needed it. I hydrated, whatever. I was fine. There was nobody there. No cars, no bikes, no one. It was empty. So I was in my biggest gear. I was in the 11 tooth and just ramming it. Put my head down for a second. As I'm looking up, some guy's pulling over. Dead stop, just like pulls over and just smacks into me. And I'm going, take into account, I'm going like 37 miles an hour. And I have it because I was tracking it on my training peaks. It literally says 37 miles an hour to 0. Just instant impact, just go flying over the car. I remember when I looked up, it was like a split second where I slammed it was my rear brake. I hit my rear brake. I heard the tires skid a little bit. But at the same time, like as the car pulled over, he kind of hit me and I kind of hit him. I saw the whole thing happening like right there. Like I was able to slow it down as it was happening, which was the crazy, scary part. I hit, impact in the shoulder, go flying over the car, do a front flip, hit my back, kick the side of your mirror. It was so funny. Like I just see my foot flying and just kick the side of your mirror, and I land like in the curb. Like I guess I hit my head in the curb. I don't know how, but I land and I'm just like laying there in the curb, just like dead still. And I'm just like, what just happened? Like I can even feel it right now. I'm like freaking out. I was just like, dude. I was like freaking out. I was like, what happened? I just opened my eyes and I just see the dude getting out of the car and he's like trying to pick me up and move me. I'm like, dude, do not touch me. Like, I swear, like I had my hand like this and I was just like, I can't move. I was super stiff. And I think it was out of shock. I was injured, but I think at that moment it was out of shock because I couldn't feel any pain. And I look down, I see like my elbows like split open. I look at my hand, like my bones freaking sticking out of my finger. What else? Like my whole like knee was like gashed open or whatever. I had this huge gash like on my side. Police gets there. The guy's like freaking out, like telling him it's my fault that I rear-ended him, whatever. Keep into account he's in a bike. There's a bike lane right there, like a huge bike lane because everybody's riding their bikes there. He's in the bike lane. The cop was already like the officer was already kind of like skeptical about it. He was trying to put the blame on me, and that really it pissed me off. And then I overheard the police officer was making a report after the incident. The guy says, oh, I was on my phone, I was pulling over to as I was on my phone I was pulling over to look at the maps. And the officer he shut everyone up and was like, he's like you were on your phone, I'm writing that in the report. He's like, you lost the case there, because first and foremost, I mean, bike has a right of way, and second, like if you're on your phone driving, like there's it's inexcusable, especially if you're driving into like a bike lane, and you get in a collision, whatever. They throw me on a stretcher and they toss me inside. I couldn't walk. I'm like freaking out, like where's my bike, whatever. And I didn't see my bike until I was inside the ambulance and they bring my bike in. My bike is in pieces. The next day I was out and I was walking in pain because I could feel everything just like tearing open, or like my femur just kind of like gnawing, and like my fingers just like it was like there was blood pulsing, and like my head hurt. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go walk, and I'm gonna go get a coffee.